Hi, and welcome back to another episode of Live on Location with Bowen and Mimi. We are in Revelstoke, BC with a local Revelstoker, Wendy Rota. Can I say Revelstoker?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yep.
Does that work?
My parents moved here for the railway, so they grew up in the working field, and we didn't ski growing up, so that pretty much makes me real local. And we curled and golfed because we're Scottish heritage, and then I got introduced to skiing when I had my own children. So I've only been skiing for about 30 years, and I still am really good at pizza. And yeah, but the ski hill is amazing for Revelstoke, and growing up here was amazing as well.
Yeah. So skiing came later in life for you.
Yeah.
But being a little kid growing up in this mountain town, what were your interests? What were your activities then, mostly as a little kid?
As a little kid,
Yeah.
definitely hide and seek, hiking, biking, running around, and we were never on the TV. We were outside till dusk and home, like it was playing outside.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what I tried to encompass with my own kids. When we had that, we led that lifestyle. And now with the international students that I host or coordinate, I try to show that side of Revelstoke, the active side. I mean, we're a small community, so there's not a lot of shopping and that kind of thing. So if you're active, it's the most amazing place to live.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Your parents were both working when you were small?
My mom was, well, she worked retail for the most part. We're a family of 4 kids, so she was busy with that. But my dad worked railway, and he was a competitive curler and a competitive golfer. So that piece of sports was really instilled with us. But yeah, we were a pretty busy family.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
We have some free-ranging chickens in the background here, so it's making me think about free-range living as a kid.
That was us.
And that was you? Like no
Yeah.
shoes, we're just taking off, we're
Totally.
jumping on our bikes and...
Yeah. We lived in not a rural area, but subdivision. It's called Columbia Park. So it was very close to the Columbia River, and Mount Revelstoke was right behind us. So we'd be like up in the mountains hiking and making forts and playing in the caves and the rock work. And we just didn't even realize how lucky we were at that point, because we didn't have a lot of money growing up. So I didn't even realize Glacier National Park was there until later, and it's because our camping was day camping. So yeah, it was pretty special to grow up that way.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Would you go on family trips together?
We did later when we became teenagers and it got a little bit better financially. We would do trips to the Okanagan or Vancouver Island, and the biggest trip was down to the coast of California all the way to San Francisco, and we camped the whole way in a tent trailer. Yeah, so
Amazing.
It was pretty good. Yeah.
Good memories, right?
Mm-hmm,
and it sounds like, yeah, you wanted to give your kids the same kind of lifestyle growing up.
Totally. And we traveled every year. We did a big family trip, and it was always in camping style for the most part. And then again, when the kids went into my children, Josh and Emma, they went into high school, I felt traveling was one of the most important things for them in a sense of education. It really broadened them, and they had the opportunity to go to China and Japan and Europe, all within our school district and through school programs. So that to me was like amazing for them. And Emma ended up going to university in Nova Scotia at St. Mary's, and she's graduated and now is working for them. And Josh became a career firefighter for the wildland firefighters. So they're both different paths, but Emma, her job is a lot like mine, where she works with the international students that come to St. Mary's, and she helps them kind of get established and just become part of the university and become really active so that they don't fall into that homesickness stage. And then Josh, he just likes the wild side, playing in the mountains like I did. So yeah, they're both doing good.
So what were these programs that were in the school system that allowed them to travel? internationally?
A lot of it for Emma, for the most part, was like the social studies teacher, Miss Browning. She would organize a program that they would go to Europe and learn about the history, part of social studies and history. So they went to, I think they ended up going to London, Paris, Italy. I think that might be it, but they visited the historic, and I think France. And so they visited the historical piece, and then
and that was through the high school program?
Through the high school program. And then there was also, it was actually part of School District 6, which is part of the RMISP program that I am a coordinator with, but at the time I didn't have any relationship with them career-wise. They went to China and they stayed, it was a camp, a 2-week-long camp that they went to Beijing, and they stayed in the university there and learned about the history and the culture. And yeah, so at Emma, Josh went first, and he actually became a speaker at the camp, so he represented the group. And then Emma was the second one that went, and they just loved it. Josh went to the silk market and came home with like a bazillion pair of runners, because what wouldn't you do?
Yeah.
And then Emma had another opportunity to go to Ono, Japan, because they're actually our sister city for Revelstoke, and the relationship's been there for about 22 years, where and they first came to us, and it was actually ran out of MLI, a program out of Vancouver, an international program. And so they reached out to us as a sister city. So for years, all the way up to COVID, they would come here every year and stay for 5 days and 2 kids would stay in a home, and then our students would go there and stay in their home. So it became this sister city relationship, and the mayors had the opportunity to go there. Their mayor had come here, and it went on all the way through prior to COVID, and then obviously it got shut down for 3 or 4 years. And then when I became a trustee, I was speaking with the long-standing trustee, Alan Schall, because he's been a trustee for 35 years in Revelstoke. He's been the longest in BC. And I spoke with him about it, and he said, yeah, no, we need to get that started. So then I reached out and started getting the dots connected, and we started that again. So they've come now, this is their second year they've come since COVID, and we haven't had the opportunity to go there because it is quite expensive and it's hard to get those funds organized, but they've come here. So we're hoping to get a group there next year.
So did your daughter, when she initially went over, or your son, did they have to do their own fundraising, or was that a sponsored program? Or?
No, at that time, everything was us paying for it, and fundraising. Fundraising was huge. And so like last year's group, we couldn't get organized because it was such it ends up being about $5,000 for each student, and that's a lot. So I think the fundraising piece is a big thing, but as a board, for the school trustee, we voted that we will look at possibly subsidizing the students. So we just have to get a better plan on that to figure out how we're going to help them, because it's such an important relationship.
Yeah, it's great for the students that you advocated to get that program running again.
Yeah, it's good. It's good for everybody, the community, and it's good for the it's because they do a whole tour of the city. I bring them to the mayor, I bring them to the history museum, and everybody really encompasses it and loves showing Revelstoke. We're quite a proud community, and it's pretty neat. I'm very proud of living here. Yeah.
Thinking about your kids going to school in Revelstoke and wondering, it's not a big place. So are those the same schools that you went to as a kid growing up? Or?
Pretty much. Well, I mean, my mom actually, where my kids grew up or went to school was in Mountain View, because we lived in the main downtown Revelstoke heritage home, and my mom went to that school. It's called Mountain View, and it used to be the original high school at the time, so she went to the same school as them, but I grew up in Columbia Park, so a different elementary school. And then the high school, we had done a revamp or reconstruction. I believe it was 2007, around that time. So we didn't go to the same high school.
It's a beautiful high school. We drove
Yeah.
by it today.
Yeah, it's state of the art. I mean, it's 10 years old now, so it's a little bit older, but the amount, what the ministry gave to us and the foresight that the school board and the superintendent had at that time with both the elementary school and the high school working together, and with the early child care center there, like Revelstoke was the first place in our area in BC that had their early child care connected with Begbie View, which led to the seamless day for the youth, right? Because what a better way for the students or for the parents to be able to drop off their child at a daycare and then go to school. And it's just, I mean, it's the way it is now. Parents have to work, and we want to make it a safe environment, a connected environment, and somewhere where the children feel welcome. Right. So it's a really unique thing. So
yeah, it is a unique thing. And a lot of communities miss out on that when they don't have a good, I'm guessing, future city planner, or like the person who's involved in the planning and has the foresight to put that
like
together.
Alan Schell and Ann Cooper were the main people behind that vision, and they worked, and Linda Schell as well. She runs the child care center. The foresight they had with that was just amazing. Revelstoke's very lucky with what we have for our resources. And you don't realize it until you look outside.
Right. I'm thinking of the perspective of if you're in Revelstoke and you've grown up here and you haven't had a chance to travel out and see how other cities do things, that it could inhibit your growth of a city in a new way. Whereas these people you mentioned, are they from other places and they relocated to Revelstoke, or?
Well, Ann Cooper relocated here. She became the superintendent. I don't know the exact year, but it was in, I believe, the early 2000s, and that's when the vision started to encompass. She came from, her last station was northern BC, and then she came here with her husband, Bob Cooper, who I became connected with because he was the principal at Mountain View Elementary. And at that point, my kids were in the high school, in the elementary school, and they had a really rickety old playground, and it just wasn't safe. Right. So then I just asked Bob. I wasn't part of the pack at the point because I just didn't have that commitment to that. But I said, can I start fundraising to get a playground? And he's like, go for it. So then I just reached out to the city, and because I am a longstanding Revelstokian, people know me, right? Like I would phone somebody, they would know Wendy Rota, and we would start working together. And so we really envisioned it as a city piece because it's on technically half that property was city property. So we made it like a city project. We made it that the playground would stay there forever. It's become a city playground, and we made it a heritage piece. So we brought in the museum, and we had education behind that. So the kids really felt connected to the school more. And so I think that work, just the foresight to get the playground started, was what brought Anne and Mike Hooker at the time, the superintendent. They're the ones that asked me to run as a trustee, because it wasn't really in my foresight because my kids are long gone and I'm already pretty busy, but yeah.
So you have all these amazing projects going on as a school trustee. Are you also acting as a liaison between families and administration, or what? Can you tell us more about your role as a school trustee?
What we would do in a normal board meeting is we would have our business lined up and our agenda lined up, and then we always have a roundtable session, and so we would talk about that at the end of the meeting, roundtable concerns and questions. But if it was like a hot topic, like recently we just did a lot of work on the digital device policy that we put into place, and that was a very hot topic, right? So we would bring the questions and concerns to the board prior to the meeting. So then people were prepared to look into it, and then it would become a topic during that meeting, right? And then we would further investigate it. But if it was like just a general concern, it's typically talked about at the end, and then maybe further investigated later. Yeah. I think I missed being part of the school in that sense, but RMISP brought me back to it. Like the international program brought me, because I started doing that role about 4 years ago.
What are the other aspects to that job as coordinator?
Well, it's finding host families and getting connected to them, so I know how they run as a family. So then I can, because what happens is, RMISP runs, they'll give me a profile of a student, and then it's my job to find a host family for them and trying to make that connection work. And I'm the mediator between the host family and the students. If something isn't working, between the agent and the students and the host family, like it's just figuring out that, is trying to help the students be engaged and busy, so that in November, when things are like gray here and there's not much to do, just trying to keep them busy and not homesick, because those are hard months. And then December is another hard month where we need to keep the kids busy and helping the families figure out that piece too, right? Because there's nothing worse than having a teenager that you've known for 3 months in your home, and they're having homesickness, but you don't know it because you don't know them. It could be just their personality. Figuring out how to get that out and building that relationship with them. So, and it's taken time, right? At first I was like 2 in, and which was great. Like I got really connected to the kids, but then me being overly involved takes away from the host families. They don't get that connection. So it's learning that balance. It's a dance. Yeah.
And it's been 5 years, you said?
I think this is going into my 5th. Yeah. Yeah.
And you can see yourself doing this for a while longer?
I think as long as I'm in Revelstoke, I would like to do it.
Yeah.
I absolutely love it. This is the first year we haven't hosted students, and I thought I would miss it more in a sense, but I think I'm a better coordinator for it, because I'm not like focusing on 2, and there isn't that sense of jealousy that I'm doing stuff with them, and it's been better for my marriage.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's been good. Yeah. Boundaries are good in a sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So not only are you doing the homestay coordinating, but you're a healthcare professional as well? Or?
Yeah, I work at the hospital, and I do all the sterilizing of the instruments and the ordering for our area. And so I've been there, I think 15 years. Prior to that, I was in dental assisting, but then this position opened up and I took the course, and yeah, so that's my real job.
Right.
Yeah.
And you find a good balance?
Yeah.
These days, yeah.
Some days my husband just says I'm crazy. But
crazy can be good.
Crazy is good.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, my balance is going for a run or a hike and painting, like that kind of thing. Yeah. Yeah.
Thank you for sharing your thoughts on what it's like to be a local and what's going on. And I think we picked the right person. You are super involved and knowledgeable about things that are important, and I appreciate that.
Thank you. No, it was nice. I mean, yeah, it's good to reflect and think about giving more, because sometimes you get caught up in your own busyness that you forget. But yeah, it's very important for a small town. So thanks, you,
Wendy.
You're welcome.
Yeah. Thanks, everyone. And we'll see you next time.